Honorable Presidency, dear all, as I speak, 4.3 million Syrians are refugees, and 6.6 million are displaced within Syria. As all of us, they seek a decent life for themselves and their family. Let me tell you a story. He's a scientist. He's a Syrian scientist, and he used to build outstanding buildings, but war came, and war destroyed it all, including the compound he had built for his family. His wife and their daughter and 5 other family members died when the missile exploded in the house. Now he is a refugee. He lives in Istanbul, but he cannot work, at least not legally. He has no money and can barely pay the rent of the apartment in which he and his 2 remaining children live. He wanted to change the world, but his projects were ruined by the war. Luckily enough, he happened to be resettled in the United States, and he met the founder of Humans of New York, a quite popular blog, I believe. Even more luckily, President Obama was moved by his story. Now, this anonymous man has new hopes, and his life will soon be back on track. He will be able to work again and to share his incredible inventions with the rest of the world. But let's make this clear. He's amongst the happy few. Most Syrian refugees live in camps, in harsh conditions. What we Occidentals tend to forget is that the refugees that arrived in Europe, provoking the so-called major refugee crisis, represent only 10% of the total number of Syrian refugees. Over 85% of the Syrian refugees remain in the Middle East, in Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Egypt. In the past 4 years, 1 million of them sought protection in Lebanon. 6 million, that is the population of Lebanon. It is as if more than 53 million people had arrived in the United States within 4 years, as if 11 million had arrived in France. While trying to resolve internal tensions within the borders, the governments of these 5 Middle East countries have to provide the refugees with basic needs. However, these states encounter serious difficulties. The permanent influx of refugees has had a huge strain on the budget and infrastructures, stretching services such as health and education to breaking points in some host communities. Let's not forget that half of the Syrians affected by the war are children, whose basic needs and rights have been seriously affected. Between 2 and 3 million Syrian children are not attending school, whether because they don't have access to educational infrastructures or because they have to work to support their families. In order to improve refugee situation, the host countries need international support. Less than half of the funding requested under the United Nations 2014 Syria Regional Response Plan has materialized, and direct financial support to the host communities is below the level required. As I speak, we are all sitting comfortably in a warm room. In the meantime, most refugees live in tents or very precarious infrastructures, and they will be extremely affected by the harsh winter weather in Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Egypt. In the meantime, people in Madaya are dying of starvation. Immediate action needs to be taken by the international community. These people need help right now. As I said, refugees, just like all of us, seek a decent life for themselves and their family.